All right, we are live. It is about 3 minutes to 8 o'clock. I'm just going to give it a few moments here, and then we will get rolling. It should just be about 2 more minutes, and then we'll get rolling. All right, I see we have a couple people that have joined, so hello. We're just going to give it like another minute or two, and then we'll get started. I do have the question and answer portion turned on the side, so if you come up with a question while we're kind of going, you can ask it there. All right, it should just be one more minute. We're going to start at 8:01 here. All right, let's get rolling. So hello, everyone. I hope you had a great Monday. I just kind of briefly wanted to mention some things before we get to the questions. I did post this in the groups. I just wanted to mention this real quick in case anyone hadn't seen it yet. I have changed the deadline for your weekly updates to be Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time, which is New York time. I'm hoping that everyone can kind of make it part of their morning routine for Saturdays for when they get their updates in rather than wait till the last minute. So I don't have to chase you down for your updates. Part of that is you don't have to weigh in on Saturdays. I'd like for everyone to weigh in the same day each week, but just that's when I need to start doing updates so I can get through them all by Sunday evening, give or take. So that's moving the time up so I can actually get started a little bit earlier and not be like working late into the night Saturday. So just please, if you have any questions about that, I did post it in all the groups. Please let me know. All right, so we have 2 questions submitted so far. I do have the Q&A portion of the app turned on, so please ask there if you have any, and I'll check that after I answer these 2 questions. All right, so the first question comes from Erica. Erica asks, is getting protein within a certain time frame before and after a workout actually a big deal for recovery or building strength, or is that not very important? So thank you for the question, Erica. That's actually a great question because there's tons of debate around this subject, and different people will tell you different things. So normally for similar questions, the answer would be, it depends. It depends on if you're trying to lose weight or build muscle, or if you're trying to get stronger, or if you're trying to train for cardio or running. But fortunately, the research is very cut and dry in this case, regardless of what your goals are. So the answer is, as long as you get enough protein and are training after having eaten during the day, the protein timing is not important whatsoever. So that means, actually, there's one exception to this, and that would be if you're fasted, meaning you haven't eaten before your workout, then this does matter. Even then, eating protein within 1 to 3 hours after your workout didn't really make much difference as far as recovery and protein synthesis, which is the building and repair of muscle. I do want to mention that this assumes you are getting a higher protein intake, and that eating or drinking protein before you work out can actually reduce muscle soreness after the workout. So while it's not going to specifically make you build muscle any faster, it can reduce the amount of soreness you get after the workout. So that is the one exception. So if you've been working out for a while and you're really sore afterwards, the first thing you probably want to do is look at, am I getting enough protein? With everyone, I believe I've set your goals pretty reasonably right in the middle of where your protein should be. So if you're hitting those goals and you're still really sore after workouts and you've been at it for a while, you may want to consider having a pre-workout protein drink. Doesn't need to be anything other than some protein. Or doesn't have to be a protein shake. It could be any protein food. Eating that before your workout and seeing if that helps with your muscle soreness afterwards. Still normally go through your post-workout routine of dealing with muscle soreness, be it stretching or foam rolling, whatever. But having some protein before the workout is shown to help with soreness afterwards. So in summary, as long as you're eating enough during the day and you're reaching your protein goal or near it, protein timing really doesn't matter, with the exception being that pre-workout protein can actually help with muscle soreness. And that in that particular case, it may be worthwhile trying to get. The goal with your workouts is not to make you sore every single time. Whenever you do something that's new, you'll probably be sore because you're using those muscles in a fashion that they haven't been used for in a while. So that soreness is proper. But the goal here is not to be sore after every workout. Being sore does not equate to more progress. You really don't want to be horribly sore after every workout at all. It's possible that you may be kind of overreaching if that's the case. Just talk to me about that. We can kind of go from there. All right. Our second question comes from Ashley. Thank you for the question, Ashley. Ashley asks, as someone who needs snacks between each meal, can you recommend better low-calorie, high-protein snack ideas that won't bust my meal plan? That's a great question. Many people struggle with getting a higher protein intake, and it really comes down to making your meals protein-focused, as well as making smart choices that allow you to, number one, hit the protein goal, number two, hit the calorie goal, and number three, still allow room for other foods that you enjoy that kind of will allow you to be flexible. Because the goal here isn't like change your entire life so the only thing you eat is protein. The goal is to eat enough protein and vegetables to feel full, fit in foods you enjoy every day so you're not feeling deprived, and still see success in whatever your goals are by meeting your protein and calorie goals. So that's kind of the point here. Some of the things that I like to eat as my go-tos for high protein are hard-boiled egg whites, low-fat string cheese, homemade or store-bought beef jerky. We got a dehydrator and have been making our own beef jerky. Meat prices, if you go to the grocery store, can be kind of high. We are fortunate to have a butcher close by that has they sell to restaurants, but they also sell to the public. You can get some really good prices there, and we just go with a lower fat type of meat and make beef jerky out of it with our own seasonings. It doesn't keep as long that way, but if you're eating it often enough, it's probably worth your time. Dehydrators are not too expensive. I think we just got ours off Amazon. Quest Protein company makes protein chips, and they're pretty low calorie, and they have a decent amount of protein in them. I think a bag of chips is like 140 calories and like 15 grams of protein. And to me, they taste like air popped Pringles, and they have my favorite flavor, which is sour cream and onion. So I don't eat those every day. That's for me like a movie snack. If I'm going to the movies, I'll buy like 2 bags of Quest protein chips and like a protein bar, and that's what I'll eat during the movies. Not because I normally don't have problems hitting my protein goal, but in those particular cases, I like to snack during movies and TV. That's probably my one weakness that's has never changed or gone away. So I just like the feeling of snacking on something when I'm watching a movie, I guess out of nostalgia. So in that case, I'll have like, a protein-based snack just so it fills me up quicker and I'm not just going back for refills on popcorn, because that'll happen to me. Low-fat Greek yogurt and low-fat cottage cheese are also good. One thing is, I eat lots of Greek yogurt and I buy it at Sam's Club, but they also sell Greek yogurt veggie dips, which are like, it's just a veggie dip, but it's made with Greek yogurt. It's high protein, but it's not in like Greek yogurt flavors. So there's going to be like ranch, dill, things like that go very well with raw veggies like carrots, broccoli, celery, cucumbers, cut up peppers, things like that. And that's a great way to get protein and vegetables. If I were traveling and I needed to stop into a grocery store and get a quick fix for something to eat, I'd probably buy some pre-cut up vegetables and grab one of the Greek yogurt dips, because it's not like you don't eat it as fast as you're eating like yogurt with a spoon, because you can just keep spooning it in. With like a dip, you need to like, and if it's your own, you're not having you can double dip. So, you could take a bite and you're slowly eating and you're getting filled from the fiber and protein. That's a great way to get some protein in. So some other things would be a protein shake, obviously, but getting some protein from a protein shake every day is not a problem. It's called a supplement in that it's adding to your diet something that's missing. But it's food. It's not anything like you're taking protein. It's literally just a food. So with that said, I would prefer that everyone, if possible, chew their protein, but that still doesn't stop you from using a protein shake. You can make protein puddings out of protein powder, which is essentially where you get a protein powder that's maybe not whey, but like a thicker protein. And you can basically just add water very, very slowly to the protein, serving in a bowl, and use a spoon to mix it together, and it'll turn into like a pudding-like consistency. And you can add like sugar-free Jello to that. Sugar-free Jello is a great way to just kind of add some filler and some sweetness to it without really any calories. I think a cup of sugar-free Jello is like 5 to 10 calories. There's hardly anything in there. It's like gelatin, so it's not really worth worrying about. It's not a good source of protein though. So with protein, you could have the shake, or you could do protein pudding. My favorite, I ate this for years, is protein fluff. And essentially you just take a serving of a protein, you mix it with the frozen fruit. Strawberries work best because strawberries are really low calorie and they have a lot of water content. And what you do is you put it in a mixing bowl with like a stand mixer. You can use a hand mixer, but you're going to get tired. So I bought a stand mixer for this purpose. And you pour in like a little bit of almond milk or skim milks. You could actually just use water too. And sometimes I'll use a thickener like guar gum. And you basically just slowly add the frozen fruit in with some water or whatever your liquid you're using, be it almond milk or skim milk. And what it does is it whips around and it fills up the entire mixing bowl. And it's something like 200 calories for an entire gigantic 10-cup mixing bowl. That's a sweet snack. And I usually get Hershey's dark chocolate cocoa powder and mix that with some Splenda and sprinkle that on top. And it's like eating a dessert item that is a huge amount of volume. I mean, we're talking the mixing bowl is like this big and it's full to the top. And when you eat it, it's going to fill you up regardless of it being 200 calories. A lot of that's air, but that's quite all right. So that if you're looking for something that's sweet and protein and filling, that's an awesome thing to do. What I usually do is when I have that, I still have some calories left over for carbs. So I will buy, there's a cereal that's like nothing added. It's simply the grains. They're puffed grains. So like puffed corn. It's almost like Honey Smacks, but there's really nothing added. It's literally the ingredient is just organic puffed rice or puffed corn, or there's a one called kamut, and it's very plain tasting cereal. But when you mix it in with the protein fluff, it adds some additional texture to it, and the flavors mix, and it's a great snack. So the other thing you could do is protein pancakes, and it depends if you're willing to eat a pancake for your snack, but you can make some really low calorie, high protein pancakes. The texture is a little bit different than what you'd expect from a buttermilk pancake on the griddle, but it is a similar type taste and texture. Sometimes I'll have a protein bar, like a Quest bar or an Oh Yeah bar. They're usually around like 200 calories for the most part if you get the ones that are higher protein ratio, and that's for like 20 grams of protein. I try not to eat those too much. That's not a staple of my diet whatsoever. I have a closet full of them right now because I'd stocked up because they're a good price. Anytime the Quest bars drop below $1.50 a bar, or if the Oh Yeah bars drop below $1 a bar, I'll kind of stock up, and that'll hold me over for a few months. Those are my go-tos when I'm traveling, when I can't always reliably get fiber and protein as easily as I could when I'm at home. So that's maybe something to kind of have on the back burner. I'm honestly not a fan of eating protein bars every day. That said, if you want to do that, it's not really going to cause a problem. Many of you may know this about me, but I love peanut butter. One of my favorite things that's higher protein is PB2. It's peanut butter that has had the fat removed from it, and it's powdered. And you basically take it in a bowl and you mix it with water slowly, and it reconstitutes as like a peanut butter. At first, the idea was kind of shocking to me. I was terrified by the idea of taking the yummy fat out of peanut butter and having to mix the powder with water. But now I eat it every day. It's amazing. It's very low calorie. Does have high protein, but it also has high carbs, so they're pretty balanced. So you just have to be aware of that. It's a great snack to have with like an apple or a banana. It's like I said, I have it every night. It's amazing. I have severe peanut butter cravings. Part of that is because both my kids had peanut butter allergies when they were younger, and we couldn't have peanut butter in the house. So as soon as I had to remove a food item from my house, I started to crave it uncontrollably because I couldn't have it. My wife wouldn't even let me have it outside the house because then the allergies are pretty severe. So what if I had like peanut butter particles on me and got them? They had a reaction. So I basically had to eliminate peanut butter from my life. They both outgrew the allergy, thank goodness. So, I have that as often as I can, and it really fulfills that craving for me. And I like it better than natural peanut butter. Natural peanut butter, where the ingredients are just peanuts and salt, the oil kind of rises to the top, and you have to mix it back in, and that tastes too oily to me. So I like it better than that oily tasting natural stuff, but not as much as I like it as the Jif stuff. It's the sugar added crap, but I'd rather eat the PB2 than the sugary crap. Ashley, you're in the group you're in. On the weekly assignment, I did post some links to protein-oriented recipe pages that you should definitely check out. I think it's Protein Pal, the Protein Chef, and EpicureanBB.com. Those all have protein-oriented recipes, and many of them are not just snack foods, but protein-oriented snacks. Some of them are like sweets that are protein-focused. They're like substitutions of things you might like now, but protein versions. And even things like, I think I've mentioned this before, but one of my favorite foods is French toast. So there's like protein-based French toast by adding some protein powder into the mix, things like that. So definitely check those out. All right, that actually covered all the pre-submitted questions. All right, so we have a submitted question. So thank you. This is from V. V is asking, on the foam rolling front, do you have any recs for a good guide on making the best use of a foam roller? I can't think of any particular guide that covers the basics. I would say that it really depends on what particular problems you have that need a foam roller for. Part of the thing with post-workout rituals, as far as like stretching and foam rolling, it's really going to depend on where your particular problem is. If you don't have any problems and you don't feel like you got tight after a workout or incredibly sore, you don't really have to do it. As long as it's not impacting your mobility, meaning what can happen is to say you can touch your toes and you start working out and doing an exercise that has you bending at the hips, and then all of a sudden you find you can no longer touch your toes. What's happening is the muscles are being shortened and they're not being re-lengthened after they've healed. So that's a case where you'd probably want to attack that with foam rolling, and you'd want to probably target your butt, the back of your legs, which are the hamstrings, and then possibly the front of your hip. So really it's foam rolling is like trigger point release, where you want to find where the problem is, and once you've found that problem spot, you really want to lay in there, and it's not a pleasant experience while you're doing it, but once you kind of release that pressure and kind of get that tissue kind of kneaded up like dough, basically, it'll feel great. So there's no particular guide to like head to toe foam roll all the things. It's really just if you have a problem, you want to attack that. I have a problem where I have really tight hips because I'm standing for the hangout now. As someone asked a question about what do you do when you're sedentary all day sitting at a desk, I decided I'm going to start doing the hangouts standing. But other than the hangouts, I'm usually sitting from like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Working in an office, doing stuff for photocracy, answering people's questions and emails and things like that. So I get really tight hips, so I have to basically foam roll them every day to keep them loose enough to the point where I'm not, rolling up into a ball from everything being tight. And the other part of that is when you're doing a particular exercise, if you know something's tight from sitting or from an injury, you want to take extra special care to warm those areas up. So to summarize, I would say just work on the problem areas. Don't worry about specific foam rolling. Just if you're not sure what your problem areas are, but you kind of feel like you'd like to explore, you could basically just get on the foam roller on the floor and lay on your back and kind of look for spots where it hurts. Put your legs on the foam roller and kind of go from there. I don't really use the foam roller anymore. I have the stick, which is kind of lets you really kind of fine tune where the problems are. And I use the Theracane, which it's like plastic balls and you can just kind of push them right in there. Those are great. But if you have a foam roller, and you don't have any problem areas, but you kind of want to explore, just get on the ground and kind of roll around on it, putting pressure on the spot you want to test and seeing if there's like you'll know when you hit a problem spot. It's like, oh, okay. And you kind of work on that spot until you feel some relief. It's not like a routine or anything you need to do. It's really just kind of exploring to what your problems are. So it's a great question though. Thank you. All right. That was a question there. Let me check one more spot and I'll see if there's any more. All right, I am not seeing any more submitted questions. So that wraps up the Hangout for this week. Like I said, just one more quick reminder about the due dates for the updates. Please try to have them in by noon Saturday Eastern Standard Time, which is New York City time. I'm not in New York City, but that's a city everyone knows. And then we'll go from there. If you guys have any questions, please ask them in group, and I will talk to everyone soon. Have a great week. Good night.